Hi, this is Paul Sackis, Good News Planet. I'm speaking to David Benoit. Hi, David. How are you?
Hey, Paul, how are you?
How bad could I be? I'm
Good.
Rotunda,
I know.
which is historic up into itself. I'm
Sure.
listening to you perform, and you are actually creating a CD. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
So what's going on? What is the CD all about? And how come you get to record here? And can I? No.
I don't know, it's my buddy Todd, you know, it's nice to have a friend at Steinway. And actually, he knew we were making a record for Concord and suggested, how about recording at Steinway Hall? Maybe he didn't think I was really going to take him up on his offer, but he said, sure. And my longtime producer engineer, Clark Germain, and I have done a lot of interesting recordings, including one we actually did at Dvorak Hall in Prague. And so we thought, well, here's a new challenge, and so we're very, very excited to be here.
All right. Well, this is magnificent. I saw that Todd has only a few pieces of equipment, and he's recording such a beautiful CD.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly a nice environment.
Yeah, times have changed. This has a great sound here. I've just read the 1924 to 25, the history on this rotunda and building, and it's on Landmark. It's on 57th Street and Steinway. Still being here in New York, so it's close and dear to us New Yorkers.
Yes.
I imagine where are you from originally?
Well, I'm from Hermosa Beach, California.
Oh, wow.
So I'm
okay.
a native Californian, a second generation native Californian, but I love coming to New York, and getting a little taste of winter is nice. And
Beautiful. Actually, my piano's from California, from Venice Beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So you're a pianist as well?
I am, and I will say only because Mr. Steinway does own. I'm a con man on the saxophone.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
that's another beautiful thing. So now you've done very, very well in the world of music. So give us, you've had a Grammy nomination and Charlie Brown and so on and so forth. Give me a little bit of background on how did you start your music career?
Well, I tell my music students nowadays that I did everything wrong. Never went to music school. I dropped out of college when I was 18. And one of my early gigs was playing at the Parisian Room in Los Angeles, and I was the only white guy in the club, including the band and the audience. So I learned a lot about jazz and R&B music, and then I moved up to Hollywood and started working in the recording studios as a studio musician, and then met a few players. And one session I was on, the record company guys were over there and liked the way I played and offered me a record deal. It was, different times. It was back in the 70s, and so I did my first album in 77, and I'm making, this will be the 32nd CD that I've done. This one.
Yeah, you pump them out.
Yeah.
But you're a talented writer. Being a musician myself, so you know where to put one key after the next.
Yeah.
Where'd that come? Now, if you left school at such a young age, where did you learn to? So how do you know how to play?
Well, I played by ear when I was really young, and I started writing melodies when I was about 6 or 7. So I guess there was just some natural talent, and then I took piano lessons a lot later, when I was about 13, and then studied classical piano for a while. I just did a lot of listening to records and people perform. I grew up right next to the Lighthouse Cafe, which had all the greatest jazz artists in the world.
I've been there.
Yeah, that's my house was a few blocks away from there.
Okay.
So I would go down there a lot and get a lot of influence. And then my mother was really into the music of Leonard Bernstein and Aaron Copland and George Gershwin, all the great American composers. So I had a lot of exposure to their music as well.
So your family, because I got my grandson, but we were getting, my aunt left, and so we brought that piano down for my little grandson when he was born.
Oh.
And then we just got a couple of other new pianos. And so piano is very dear to our family. But, but you had support at a young age.
Yeah.
How did she help you?
She taught me a little bit. I mean, parents can only teach their kids so much, but she exposed me to the world of American music. She liked a lot of musicals and like My Fair Lady and all those great musicals from that time. And then my dad was an amateur jazz guitarist, so he had rehearsals at our house, and I remember for years, begging him to let me sit in, and he finally did, and I got to meet some of his jazz musician friends, and so that there was some good exposure there.
Now, what would you say, music business and industry has its challenges, in essence, to a certain degree, because there's just not many places to gig.
Yeah,
to
it's
work
true.
And
Yeah.
to get paid. Unless you're a studio musician,
Right.
I think it's a little bit difficult. But people that love the piano and other instruments, are I call them possessed, though. They are passionate about what they love to do.
Yes.
Give me a suggestion. What do you suggest for some musician who is so passionate, loves it, but has the difficulties of the industry?
Well, I can't really give the same advice that I could when I started, because I really honestly believe there were just so many more venues and opportunities for live music. Even you think about the recording studios, nobody even does demos anymore. They used to bring musicians in to do demos, because this is before all the electronics, so they had to. So that was a good way to get into the studios. That's how I did it, So in fact, even in the studios, the competition is so great that the demands are crazy for musicians nowadays to be able to sight read and have great technique. And so I think if you're passionate about it, go ahead and follow your dream. But it's really important to do the studying and learning how to read and really know all styles. I mean, you may say, okay, I'm going to focus on this area of jazz or classical, but it's really, especially for classical musicians too, I think it's more and more important for them to learn how to improvise, and for jazz musicians to be able to really read music. So if you can do it all, you have some, I think, good chance for success.
Okay, first, the name of the CD will be?
I don't know yet. We're toying around with the name. Maybe we may call it Conversation, because it is a conversation between a lot of different people. There's a piece called Conversation a commission piece that I wrote for the On Trio. That's a possibility. But we haven't finalized it yet, so we're still waiting to see how things come out.
Beautiful. Second to last question. Why Steinway?
Okay. Kind of a long story, but that goes all the way back to, I don't remember when I played my first Steinway, but I just started really falling in love with their instruments and kind of wishing I had one. And my first piano was a Kawai, which was not a bad piano. And then I did, there was a Steinway technician that said he had one for sale, and it was a B, a 1929 B, and I bought that and loved it. But it was like my dream was to have the concert grand, the D, and I remember one day my wife and I were walking in it was the Steinway store at that time in Wilshire Boulevard in L.A., and I played this D from 1959 and just fell in love with it. We bought it on the spot. So we have two of them now. They're kind of like side by side. But all during this time I was a Yamaha artist. And one day I just felt like I kind of like living a lie in a sense. I love these pianos, these Steinway pianos, and so why was I out playing a Yamaha? And I just called Yamaha one day. I said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to move over to Steinway. And I guess you sort of have to be asked to be a Steinway artist. So Peter Goodrich at that time telephoned me and said, we'd like you to come over to Steinway. So it was like, so that's how it happened.
And you're a happy camper, obviously.
Oh, very much so.
Last question then is, so what's good news for you?
The good
David
news.
Benoit.
Yeah, the good news right now is I'm here at Steinway Hall recording this album, and I think this year's, with the album coming out, is going to be great. And I also have a new job. I'm doing the morning show for K-Jazz Radio.
Wow.
I'm the morning host, so that's a lot of fun. That comes on from 6 to 10, and it's it's streaming on the internet. And then I'm also starting my 11th season as music director of the Asia America Symphony.
Oh, really?
So that's another little thing I do on the side.
Well, congratulations.
Symphony conducting.
It's the Lunar New Year tomorrow, right?
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah, and I hear you only deal in good news.
We only deal in good news.
I love it.
And that's what most of the world's all about. So,
yes, that's right.
We're very lucky.
Yes.
And that's the good news.
All right.
Thanks, David. Really,
Okay.
what an honor.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.